Hi guys, this is Bill from Spencer1984.com with another update to the Lone Wolf McQuade Dodge Ramcharger. As you can see, it's been a busy week for painting, and I think we're finally on the home stretch with this project. And starting off with the body, I made one last modification, and that is putting some flanges just inside the fenders to support the hood. And then I went through and put some Tamiya TS7 Racing White on it. I think that's a pretty good approximation of the kind of off-white that Chuck Norris's truck was painted. So now that this is done, I'll go through, do all the trim, paint the inside of it black, and that'll be ready to go. Got some decals for the doors, and I think this kind of shows the difference between the pure white of the decal and the off-white of the body. Yeah, I think that'll look pretty good. And next up, got the wheels done. And these were a whole custom project unto themselves. The back side is just straight out of the monogram kit. But the front side, well, let's do a little flashback. Okay, so I started with the kit supplied tires and wheel backs. These are just straight out of the monogram kit. I found a fourth Goodyear in my parts box that matched the other three, so that was all that I needed for those. And then for the face of the wheel, these are from the Revell G Poncho kit, and I really like the spider. I think that's really close to what we saw in the movie truck, but I hate the flange that they come with. To me, it looks like they were aiming for a bead lock, but missed. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the spider, but I'm going to get rid of that flange. Let's go around the edge and cut all of this off. And with that done, now I can go through, sand it smooth, so it looks like this. And that looks pretty good, but, of course, now it's way too small. So, I went into my parts box, and looked around, found these, and these are the wheel backs from, I think, a 98 Camaro. And if I cut out the centers of them, I can go from this to this, and then I can put the center spider in, and now I've got my custom wheels. Alright, flash forward time. So, got the wheels for it, and I used up some wheels for my parts box that I hated. I've got the front and rear axles painted. Can't quite say that they're done yet. We'll get to that in a moment. But I've got them painted flat black. I've got the ends still exposed plastic, so I've got some good surface to glue to. But the reason why I say they're not done is I do need to make one last adjustment. You see, they've got pretty good standoff between the flange and the outer wheel. And that's great, except if we compare it to the body, they stick out a little bit. So, kind of a cool look, but not what I'm going for here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off a little bit of this shoulder, and then I can cut off a little bit of this tab. Just bring those wheels in a hair, and that should work out just fine. Won't lose any structural integrity, and can still use all of the appropriate glue connection points like I want to. And moving on, I don't know that I did a whole lot more to the engine since the last time you guys saw it. I think this is pretty much where it was last time. I also don't remember if I showed off, but Got the transfer case all ready to go. The dimensions pretty much match the original kit. The automatic transmission, because it's skinnier, it looks a lot longer, but it's actually within half a millimeter of the same length. So that's all good to go. Got seats painted. And these are just straight out of the monogram kit. Didn't do anything to them other than glue them together, take the seam off, and paint them semi-gloss black. Same deal for the rear seat, but this also got the armrests. And I don't know if the pattern is exact to the truck from this movie, but it's close enough. And since everything got painted black here, I think that we're good to go. And next up, I solved my inner fender problem. These are the inner fenders from the MPC 84 GMC pickup kit. I had a lot of leftover parts from when I built Black Gold, and the frame was one of them. So I pulled these, thought it was kind of neat that it includes the jack, nothing really on the bottom to throw it off. I just had to do a little trimming to make sure that they fit between the firewall and the radiator bulkhead, but otherwise these are basically good to go. And then the last big thing to talk about is the interior and chassis. So went through with a single coat of flat black, then I went and brush painted the door panels, the sides, the center console with a semi-gloss so that it matched the seats. I ended up not doing anything with the center console or the pedals. I was going to grind those off, but then I was looking at it and they've got divots here for the pedals, and I don't know if you can really see it, but there's also not really a whole lot of material on the side of that center console. And I could have added filler to the backside and then ground it off, or rebuilt it with some styrene, but instead I'm just going to hide it. I also have the dashboard trimmed and painted, and I still need to do all the detail work, the gauges, the radio face, the fake wood grain, all that stuff. But if I put it in, you can see the floor pedals pretty much disappear. So that really wasn't worth messing with. And if I put the seats in, yeah, you're not really going to see a whole lot of that center console. I might put something on top of it, maybe a case of his Pearl beer or something like that. But otherwise, I think the chassis is pretty much ready to go. And like I said at the beginning, pretty much on the home stretch now. I think all of the major modification work is done. Most of the minor modifications are done. Might need to do a little tweaking here and there, but not bad. And otherwise, just kind of go through my checklist. So I got to do the final paint and assembly on the interior. The body, I need to do the bare metal foil, install the glass, paint the inside of it black, put the decals on, do some weathering. The front and rear axles, need to narrow those down. The engine, need to put the belts on, wire it, plumb it, and eventually put the carburetors on it. Probably going to do that as the last thing once I get the hood on. Now, what else? Oh, I made my final decision on the light bar. I'm going to be using this because the cop-out light bar is almost exactly like what Lone Wolf McQuade's was. The two gumballs, the two middle lights, the center siren, just about perfect. And I didn't have anything else that I was going to do with this kit, so that's what it's going to be. And so, going through that checklist, yeah, there's still a fair amount to do, but I really feel like it should be relatively quick going at this point. So I am currently planning on having this all wrapped up with the final reveal next week. So you can check back then, and thanks for watching.